to face the challenge of the Funhouse. Who is mad enough to enter that world of darkness?
Funhouse.
We're back. Nope, we're not talking about poltergeist or anything like that. We are going to be talking about the houses that horror built, season 3 here on Horror Fiend TV. And before I get started, let me introduce my co-host, author extraordinaire, and I keep saying it, Stephen King, be on your toes, write more books because this guy's going to be catching up soon. Radar, how's it going, buddy?
Pretty good. I think I'm playing a long con with Stephen King. Like once he dies, and then there's that big bump where people buy his books. I'll just wait a couple of years and then overtake him.
I don't know how the guy writes so many. I mean, you write all the books, but he does too, huh?
He just cranks them out. I don't know, and they're all like thick. They're huge. They're humongous books.
I wish I had his writing time. I wish I could read it, at his pace too. I'm still working on mine, which we'll get into that another day. But yes, we are back for another season, and to start us off, we figure we do something that Radar likes to do: is go back in the past, go back a couple decades, and talk about certain films that people don't really talk about or know about these days. So we'd like to bring them back, and this one is an interesting one because it is a classic in many sorts. Because there are sorts. There's certain things about this film that people like to talk about, but this is a Toby Hooper film, and it stars Elizabeth Berridge as Amy Harper, Largo Woodrow as Liz. Then we have Miles Chaplin as Richie, and Cooper Huckabee as Dawson. Now, I gotta say this: I don't remember when was the last time I watched this film, and going back to rewatching it, there was some interesting things I picked up. Even at the beginning opening, you're like,
that
opening, there's something wrong with that kid.
It's clearly like it. I get like what Toby Hooper was like doing from a cinematic aspect of like, okay, this is kind of like your typical slasher type vibe following Psycho. But just as soon as you stop and think about like on a familial level, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, that kid will end up in jail in his adult life because, you don't do that. Yeah, that was. Don't get me wrong. Amy's very attractive. Plus, still, that's your sister, bro.
Yeah.
But that's the '80s for you. Some crazy shit in the '80s. But yeah, let's talk about this. But before we talk about this, always bring up this random question because some of these films we talk about is just these houses, these places they go to. But I mean, these kids are just dumbasses. I'll be honest with you, they're just dumb.
Yeah, this is very surface level. This movie's very surface level. Like, and if you dig down, it's the same as the surface.
Oh yeah, these kids are dumb as shit. But
they're just stupid.
If your friends would convince you, would you actually stay overnight at a fun house from a traveling carnival?
See, that's the key there too, is that like it's a traveling carnival too. So it's that extra layer of just like, this is so stupid. Because I live in Wichita, and there used to be this amusement park called Joyland. And surprisingly, Wichita was not the bustling hub to carry on this amusement park. So it ended up shutting down in like the mid 2000s. And it was a huge, like everyone did it, where you would just hop the fence and go into the abandoned Joyland and just look around in it. So like, I still wouldn't do it if my friend, because there was this like really creepy, weird like sort of ride called the Wacky Shack. And that was the big, like, everyone go explore the Wacky Shack. If my friends told me, let's go spend the night in the Wacky Shack, I'd be like, absolutely not. And that's like a stationary, you know where it is. But a traveling, oh, good Lord, you have no idea what's in there. No idea what's going on.
And this carnival is very you know, they had the strip joint. And the
Yeah,
truck,
it's a very strange carnival.
you know, very, very strange carnival. But I mean, I would. I'm sorry. You know, don't get me wrong. I would love to stay in a haunted house and
Yeah.
just experience that. But as far as a traveling funhouse from a carnival, no, I'm good, man. Because you know, the people that were in this carnival were just, yeah. I'm not sure I want to be anywhere near
Yeah,
them at all.
they were something else. It kind of, they're very creepy, but it kind of reminds me of, people are always going to do creepy stuff. And in the Paris catacombs, there's a pretty large room. What that like you can go through and tour and stuff. There's obviously thousands upon thousands of miles in the Paris catacombs, but one of the rooms, it's fairly large, and there's this enormous like pillar of skulls at the center of it, and it was famously put in there because the nobility would just go down into that room and just like party and have orgies. And so like regular people went, "Are you kidding me? You're like desecrating like the bodies of our loved ones. Please, someone do something about it." And they're like, "Okay, giant bone pillar." But it's like you got weirdos partying it up amongst the dead. I'm sure you got weirdos sneaking in and staying the night in random fun houses.
Yeah, that one,
Oh
especially
yeah.
watching that strip joint, and like
So
this is so
weird.
wrong at the time, you know. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about this movie because it's, to be honest, like I said, it's been a while since I actually watched this film.
Yeah.
I remember watching it, you know, when it came out. And you know, of course, you always gonna remember the monster, which we'll talk about, you know, later. But there was a lot of things about this film that you do remember. So, like going back to rewatching it, what were your initial thoughts on the
Yeah,
rewatch?
going back, I don't know if you can attest to this. It takes a hot minute for anything to happen. Like it feels like Toby Hooper got access to like sort of like a sideshow sort of freak display type deal and went, "Well, I got to make a movie involving this somehow." And he was like, "We'll just make up the story as we go." Kind of.
It was definitely like going back to rewatching it. It was just like it does. It takes a while for the film to get going, you know. And going back to rewatching it, the first thing I think about is, wow, these parents are just like the worst. These
they
parents are just so bad because you know your kids are practically gone from the house. Don't get me wrong, you know. When kids get older, you kind of want you treasure that alone time together without the
right.
kids. You know. But you know, here you have this little perverted. I don't know. I think he was like maybe 9, 10 years old.
Right.
You know, and then you had the daughter Amy, who, you know, don't get me wrong, she seemed like she had good intentions of what she wanted to do, but unfortunately, peer pressure suckered into
It's
that. I mean,
every
not for
time.
nothing. When your boyfriend tells you, "Hey, you want to go to, you know, see women get naked," yeah, there's obviously something wrong there.
Obviously.
But
Yeah.
even then, it's like, you know, then they get high and stuff. Not mind you, these are things that you know I've done. We've all done as teenagers and stuff.
Right.
But when you go to this carnival and you make the decision of, yeah, let's stay, and then you decide, well, I just witnessed a murder, so let's get out of here. Oh, by the way, the one guy, I think it was Dawson, right?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, let me make sure she's dead. So he ends up taking the money. Which, dude, I
Come
mean,
on.
did you think that was a little bit of a stretch, or did you mind that on the fact that he took the money?
That just that I that kind of does fit his character, and I would again, these are teenagers, like, and we have seen throughout the film that like they're dumb, you know. So I could see it happening. I think it's another. I think it's good on Toby Hooper's part because it like makes you want this guy to get off so much more. You're like this moron, and I guess there is just some like taboo about stealing something off a dead body that still exists today, you know, even though she's not going to use it, but it's just, it feels nasty to do that.
Yeah, it was just wrong. And the guy, I think he got basically choked out. Not sure if he got 100% killed off that way, but then he gets put on a cart,
Yeah.
and then his boy puts an axe through his skull.
Like, oops. If he
Yeah,
wasn't dead, that
yeah,
did.
yeah. That was the only weird part. I was like, all right, it would have been cool if he wasn't dead, if he was unconscious, but
Right.
we get struck, he like just reacted. But so there's a character in this film that, well, basically this is the bad guy, the antagonist of the film.
Yeah.
However, I had to ask this question because the way he was treated, you wonder if this actually aided into him doing the things he ended up doing. So, and I like the fact that they put him under Frankenstein costume,
Yeah.
the monster. I mean, did you feel? I mean, it's a weird question, but did you feel any kind of sympathy for this disfigured character, the monster in this film?
I mean, I would say so, you know, and I feel like I hope at some extent you agree with me on that because it's like, you know, here's this poor kid. I don't know what the hell that makes that. I'm not gonna ask any questions, Toby Hooper, but you know, and actually, I do. How do you feel about that design of the monster?
It was tough because the first thing I thought was like, is this kid like a mutant? Exactly what went wrong during the
Right.
whole? I mean, what did who was the mom? 'Cause,
I just
I mean, it was just weird because don't get me wrong, it was a unique look.
yeah,
It
definitely
doesn't look
unique.
like that has been replaced at all.
No,
But I mean, it's just yeah, with the red eyes over here, and then the mouth reminded me of the Predator for some reason.
I could see. Yeah, it kind of the look kind of reminded me of like a maggot. Like, so if a maggot morphed it, maybe the dad, hey, that's he got his kicks
Carnival.
that way. I don't know.
I mean, it was like as far as what kind of sympathy did you feel for it?
Yeah, I mean, because the dad's not treating him well, and then getting emasculated by like a prostitute like that is pretty, which that scene is interesting to say the least.
Very.
Very interesting, but like you can tell that like the way his dad treats him, and you know, if his father's doing that, what are the other members of the traveling carnival doing? You know, so I bet he got picked on his whole life, especially for looking like that, you know. And so you got to have sympathy for him because it's not like it feels more like an animal. He feels more like an animal in that sense that he's just like kind of lashing out.
Yeah.
And this is him doing that. But I don't know. How do you feel about him?
I did in a way because the way the father treated him, like don't get me wrong. I don't know the to be in that position as a parent. Not knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. You're just like, but at the same time, the way the dad treated him, you know, how many other times did the dad make him do things that he didn't want to do? The dad had a funny comment. It was like, "Oh my god, you paid her $100. I could have gotten $15 for the for the other ones." I'm like, what the hell? And the fact that he was always in the mask, and then the dad's basically yelling at him because money was gone.
Yeah.
Makes him beat himself up. Babe. Hey, hear yourself. Hear yourself. He's like wailing on himself, and you're like,
Gee.
and then the dad goes, typical alcoholic's parent. Oh, sorry, when I drink, I get a certain way.
Yeah, like I'll just blow it off.
Oh yeah, we'll blame it on the locals. We'll blame it. So this is something that's been done before. Accent has done before. So obviously
Yeah,
he's treated. Well, he's mistreated. It's like an animal.
yeah,
And I mean, I can't imagine having to live your life in a mask. Can't be
yeah,
seen in public and the isolation and even the room he was staying in was a little weird.
right. And it's not like everyone at that carnival is, a normal functioning member of society either. So like you're among, kind of weirdos, geeks and freaks, and you're even too weird for them. That's probably an extra layer of damage coming in there.
I gotta say this though, because I think the bigger monster in this film was a creepy dude that found the kid and he's
Uh,
washing him up, and it there was so many red flags in that scene when he
yeah,
called the parents and he's like cleaning up this kid. You're like, this is so wrong. That made me feel like the most uncomfortable of any moment in this film.
I was gonna say that guy is probably the focus of that character is probably the focus of a different horror movie that's much more sinister.
Oh yeah, that was just fucking disturbing. I'm like,
Which you want.
and the parents are just standing there watching, like, dude, get him off your kid.
What are you doing? It's Toby Hooper has this eclectic energy to all his films, and I think it's so like it's fun to watch them because probably when they were doing it, whenever he did these films in the 70s and 80s and 90s, it probably just glossed over it, just a decision. But now that we're, in hindsight looking back on it, it's like, what the hell were you thinking? And why was this needed?
Oh god, yeah, there was so many things in this film. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the film. I'll be honest, I did enjoy it to a certain because watching it, you're like, all that goes to your head is like, wow, you know, can this film be remade for these times?
Oh
How
yeah.
much better would it be? I mean, granted, with the practical effects, the money, I'm sure it'd be a lot better.
Right.
But I mean, there's just it's an interesting film. It's not a bad film. It's just makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Everything that has nothing to do with the actual monster.
Is the most uncomfortable part.
Yeah. But yeah, and one good thing I like about this film, and I give it credit, it kind of did something cool where you had the magician dressed like Dracula.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he goes, "Oh, this is my assistant Carmela." If you don't know who Carmela is, it's actually the first vampire novel that was written 40 years prior to Bram Stoker's Dracula. So I thought it was a cool little,
Little
that's
novel
cool.
reference.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. But yeah,
It's it's
it
such a
really,
cerebral reference too in what is ultimately a very dumb slasher.
oh yeah, it's a bad slasher,
It's a bad.
but it's so bad it's fun to watch in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, the
It's
kills are just not the greatest, but
not it's that's I think that's probably one of like the biggest downturns for it is that low body count and the kills really don't do it except for the creature's kill is pretty solid. That
yeah,
one's solid.
yeah, I kind of felt bad the way he suffered.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone else kind of just one hit or this that or choked out. Like not too bad, but oi,
Poor guy.
gosh,
But, well, we there's not much to really dive deep into this film, so this is why we're just basically having this conversation. But it's an interesting film to watch. It's currently streaming. I think it's on it's regular Amazon Prime, I
I
believe.
think so. Yeah,
But yeah, it's definitely go watch it. Let us know what you think about this film. We decided to put this one as the first episode because we had to talk about this film because there's so many weird things.
it's
And the
weird,
thing is, the antagonist, the monster, is not the weirdest thing in this film.
which is such a strange thing to say. Like
It's depressing to say.
it's like if you had a movie today, definitely the like antagonist would be the creepiest or most uncomfortable part. And just Toby Hooper's like, nope, I'm gonna have these random characters and things just be way more questionable. way more
Jeez.
questionable than the bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
that guy, creepy ass kid, and a kid. I mean, the two creepiest people were basically there having a moment together, and it was just like, the kid's gonna end up being in jail. He's gonna commit some kind of act because he's just a perv. And then this guy, forget it. It's like
Yeah.
what the topics are that are in our society today. That character would have been red flag right away.
Yeah.
But this is the first episode of The House That Horror Built here on Horror Fiend TV. We have more coming your way. We have a lot of interesting films for this season. Probably gonna have some random guests join us for some films. But Radar is good to be back, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back, and I love talking about these films. Have to start out with a fun one, something easy, turn your mind off, talk about, and then we'll have some weird ones. I know there's one coming down the pipe that's a film that is also fun in its own way. So
Yeah, it's a lot of any films with the word house in it, you're in for something interesting. It's just this one was really really fucked up. Like I said, not the monster. Other fucking monsters in this movie are a lot worse. But until next time, this is GR. That's my co-host Radar. House That Horror Built. Until next time.
peace.